Hi, everybody. This is the Amy Noel YouTube channel. I'm interviewing Tessa Themis today. She's from Texas, and we hope that her story can share some light on what it's like to be dyslexic. And she is also going to share a really interesting story about discrimination in her workplace for being dyslexic. And please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And feel free to share your thoughts and comments and questions. All right, Tessa, let's get into this. So tell us what you do for a living.
So my name is Tessa. I'm a teacher and I teach 4th and 5th grade as well as coach high school and junior high. I coach cheer, track, and cross country.
Oh, that's awesome. And what happened recently at your school?
So I was already established to return next year as a teacher for the 2020 and 2021 school year. I was going to go back and I was going to coach and I was going to teach 4th and 5th grade again. They were even looking at moving me up to junior high, but it was never like a for sure thing that where I would be at, but it was for sure returning. And unfortunately, I received a phone call. Well, I received an email first asking for a meeting and I was unable to meet. We're social distancing right now because of the virus and everything. And I was just like, I can't meet. Can you please tell me what it's about? And then they said, no, we have to talk in person. And which was a red flag immediately. Why won't you email me if it's not that big of a deal? And it's like, can I call you? And I was like, of course. I called, no response. I waited 30, 40 minutes. And then I finally got a call back and it was like, hey, how are you? Very casual, lighthearted. It was great. And then I was like, so next year, I don't know if it's gonna work out. All the parents are really complaining about your misspelling, and I know you're dyslexic, but it's a lot of work on us to have to go back and make sure everything's spelled correctly and all this stuff. And I immediately started sobbing because I have been at the same location coaching since I was 18. I'm now in my mid 20s. I have been here for 7 years. And you're telling me that entire 7 years of me teaching and coaching, I have never misspelled anything and no one has ever had a problem with it until this year. And so that just blew my mind. My boss is crying on the other end. She said, you're like family to me. I have to treat you like everyone else, but I just can't do it. It's too much work for us. And we thought this is where it just made me blow up and I got upset and it hurt. We thought it was getting better. That's why we backed off. And when I said, what was getting better? Your dyslexia. A person with dyslexia never gets better. Like, you will have this disability every day for the rest of your life. I cannot take medication for it. I can learn coping strategies. I can have programs in my computer to help me and accommodate these issues, but it will not go away. I will forever have these issues. And that's it. And that just offended me and it appalled me that someone in education didn't understand that it wasn't going to go away or it was getting better.
Yeah.
And that blew my mind. And as I'm talking, as any normal 20-year-old does, I called my best friend afterwards because I needed encouragement, who is also dyslexic. And she goes, that's equivalent to telling someone in a wheelchair, we thought you were going to walk, but now you're not. So I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, it's not. She's like, it's the same thing, but yours is just not exterior. No one can see it. And that's why people think they can just bulldoze you down because it's not a physical thing.
Yeah. It is discrimination, in my opinion. And I'm sure, what's some of the feedback that you got on the Facebook group that you shared that about?
So I felt like I was being over dramatic and I wanted to make sure, because I'm like, am I just being too sensitive? And everybody's like, no, that is discrimination for sure. And a lot of people were like, well, I can see how it can be an issue for parents and others. So if, for misspelling, but then it was, what subjects do you teach? And the subjects I teach is not English. I don't teach math, so I can't transpose numbers. Maybe in reading, there might be some issues, but most of my reading is we read aloud as a class, we discuss what we're doing, it's internal dialogue, and I kind of help the kids along create this internal development of dialogue. And so it's not a whole lot of, even if I transposed words while reading or I said it instead of the, it's not a significant thing that's going to hinder students from learning. If anything, people with dyslexia are super creative and we're able to think differently and verbalize better. So you would want a reading teacher like me.
Yeah.
How to develop these skills that they're not going to get other ways because we are just so creative and we're able to think of different things and see other perspectives. And
Mhm.
it's a unique dialogue for those who don't have this learning disability.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a large percentage of students in the class that you teach that are going to be dyslexic also. So it's important for them to know that it's not going to hold them back. And anyway, well, tell us, when did you find out that you have dyslexia?
So initially, I have a speech impediment, and everybody thought that it was just the speech impediment, and that's why I was a bad speller. And then my first grade teacher, who specialized in dyslexia, kind of mentioned it to my mom, but back then it was really early to get me tested. So she said, let's, wait a few years. And in third grade, my teacher was like, you need to get tested. Like, go. And I was in a private school, so my parents had to do it privately. And once they found out, they immediately got me therapy through the school district and as well as private therapy. So I was in third grade.
Mhm.
I really started focusing on those skills to help cope with dyslexia in fourth grade, though. So that's kind of when I feel like my journey really started.
Oh, okay. And what did you feel was really helpful that the school or your parents did?
Audiobooks. Audiobooks, amazing. You say it, I'm gonna remember it. My mom said I have a file cabinet somewhere in my brain where I keep every little detail if it is said to me. So audiobooks rock my world. Professors who will give me an option if we don't have a reading text on audio, they'll say, hey, read this novel instead because it's on audio. I'm like, thank you, you are amazing. Audio rocked my world. It saved my life through college, I swear. And then enlarging text. So it's very easy for teachers just to enlarge it to a 24 font. And
Uh-huh.
it's easy. And that amazingly, like it makes a world of difference just having a larger text.
What kind of accommodations did you have in college?
So I always took every test in a testing center that was a quiet environment, and they were able to print out the test even if it was an online test, and that helped me significantly. I found online the blue lighting from it really caused me to click the wrong button or type in the wrong answer, and having it on a piece of paper that really helped me. And always, I never had a time, even if the test was supposed to take 45 minutes, I had as much time as I needed. And that was what really helped me.
Have any other comorbid diagnoses?
So I have never been formally diagnosed with ADHD, but most of my professors, who I majored in behavioral science, so all my professors were certified to test for learning disabilities. They really felt like I have ADHD as well, which is common with dyslexic children. So they kind of suggested I get tested for that. I have a speech impediment and Erland syndrome as well. And they also go hand in hand with dyslexia. So it's pretty common for those who are dyslexic to have Erland syndrome or a speech impediment.
What do you wish that your parents and the school teachers would have known or would have done differently if they had known better?
Not waited so long to test me.
Mhm.
I feel like if I had early intervention, it wouldn't have been as much of an issue as it is in my adult life. And then I also think that we played it off as not being a big deal. It's very much so downplayed in school that you have dyslexia, it's okay, you can do everything that everyone else does, which is true, but we do it in a different way. And I really wish that it would have been like, you have dyslexia, this is how we're gonna help with it, and been more forceful with how they help with it.
Mhm. Yeah, and more direct about it.
Yes.
And what helps you with your memory? Do you have, I mean, most people with dyslexia have working memory issues.
I repeat it to myself and I repeat it out loud. So I'm very much so an auditory learner. And so while I'm studying or doing flashcards, I say it out loud. And that helps me, or I'll say it out loud as I'm writing it. And that is something that I feel like helps me the most with my memory. And so it's annoying for some people because I repeat everything, but it's what helps me remember. So I do it.
That's great. And for you, what are the positive sides of dyslexia?
That's a double-edged sword for me because sometimes I'm like, oh, I love the fact that I'm able to be such a hard worker and I'm so diligent in everything I do. But it's also because I have to work 10 times harder than everyone else. And so it has really developed me to being a hard worker. I feel the need to overcompensate when I am working because you have to work hard. You have to go above and beyond because like I got basically fired because I misspelled words. And I'm like, that's crazy to me because everybody misspells. Whether you're dyslexic or you are a regular person, you are going to have a grammatical error in almost every email. And I feel like now, okay, I have a label, I'm dyslexic, this will follow me. Oh, you misspell? It's because you're dyslexic. And so it has taught me to be the hardest worker and just be very diligent and determined in everything I do.
So what is the outcome of what the school said? Has it been resolved?
At this point, it was offered for me to go back and coach next year. I don't really feel welcome there because of it. I will not be returning. It's very hard. It's very disheartening because I have been a part of the school for so long that it was just so easy to dispose me because of that. And everyone's saying pursue a lawsuit because this is against the American Disability Act. And that lawsuit could be $10,000 to do. And really, what's the compensation for it? Because at the end of the day, no matter what, I'm not returning. Mm-hmm. And I'm at peace with that. If someone wants to treat me that way because I misspell words due to dyslexia, then I don't need to be a part of that organization.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think you'll do next?
I'm actually a graduate student. So I'm pursuing grad school right now. I'm getting a master's in theology with a focus on marriage and family relationship and crisis and trauma response. My hope is to become a hospital chaplain. I specifically want to work with children in oncology and their families as they go through the process of whatever their treatment or whatever happens during their journey there. So that is kind of my next steps I'm doing. I'm also applying for another graduate program come fall, which is the cross-cultural and global study, which focuses on anthropology and psychology. That is a huge passion of mine. So I'm hoping eventually to become a professor. That is my ultimate goal, and do research on morals and ethics.
That's really exciting. And I feel like you could help a lot of people in the oncology, and being a professor and everything. I mean, you can have an influence on a lot of people.
That's the goal. I am a huge person on developing a world of an understanding community. That is kind of my motto that I try to live by. I want others to be understanding of anybody's situation. And it's very easy to be kind to someone. You just have to make up your mind and do it. And that's, a hope and a goal of mine. And no matter what I do.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything else you want to share?
Other than just be kind to people who are different. It is not hard to do. It doesn't cost you a dime. It is so easy just to be kind. And words hurt. So choose your words wisely. And don't make fun of someone for being different. Even if you think you're not making fun of them, it's very likely, if it's a sensitive subject, like dyslexia is a sensitive subject for me. I do wear it on my sleeve, but it's very easy to hurt my feelings with it. Choose your words carefully on how you approach the situation, because words hurt.
Yes. Thank you, Tessa. Thank you so much for being so open with us, sharing everything. And I wish you luck in your future employment and everything you do. Please like, share, and subscribe. And share this video with as many people as you can so that other employers can understand what it's like to be dyslexic. And we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.